Hey everyone, this is Shobhit. Hope that you're doing well. So, we're today 5 p.m. EST on Friday, and I'm about to talk to you about some very important lessons from my career, like sort of reflecting back and really thinking through, um, what are what are really the kind of things that I could I would have done differently in my career. So today is all about that. What I'll be doing just very quickly, as always, is checking and making sure that yep, that the voice is coming through. Yep, it's coming through. So let's go. Okay, let's go. So first of all, what are the 11 things that I would do differently in my career? That's what I'm here to talk about today. Let's get going. Gonna count down from number 11 to number one. So let's begin. Number 11 thing that I would do differently in my career is, first of all, start my PM career at a bigger company. Now, this is subjective personal opinion, but I've seen, PMs that have started their careers at smaller startups and PMs that have started their careers at bigger companies. And net, it doesn't really matter that much as long as you have the right mode of learning, of growing, of building your own mindset, your skill set, your tool set, you'll do well irrespective of whether you work at a small company or big company. But if I had a choice, I would probably go for a bigger company with more mentors available to me, more established practices, just to kick off my product management career. You definitely have the chance that you'll actually grow slower from a perspective of promotions and other things during that time. But you do have the perspective of learning faster at a bigger company and then bringing those practices to other places. So all said and done, that's one thing I would do differently. So if you have a choice, you are starting a product management career and you could go to a large company like a Google or Facebook and Amazon, whoever, or you could go to a startup that's up and coming. I would probably choose that bigger company. Doesn't mean that people haven't done it the other way. Doesn't mean that there's people who've like gone from PM to VP really fast. They were like the first few people at the company. But on average, bigger company is what I would focus on during the first few years of your career. In fact, a coaching client just joined me a few days ago. And this person, they've been at smaller companies and they are now joining a larger company, and they see it as a pivot and a change in their career to join this company and to almost like accelerate their career by growing there, but then taking that name elsewhere. So, I fully support that. So that's one, starting your career at a bigger company, number 11. Number 10, don't obsess about perfect product management practices. You have probably heard the name Marty Kagan. Really awesome guy. Met him a bunch of times. Probably read each of his articles multiple times. Watched his videos, everything. Just like absolute one of the best product management coaches around. The problem that I've told him face to face that sometimes people run into is that they assume that every company works that perfect way that Marty describes. The fact is, most companies, even the best ones, have a lot to grow in product management practices. You know, change takes time. Changing mindsets takes time. Most people, like sometimes I belong to a circle of coaches, and I tell them, look, I coach product managers. And I've been asked this question multiple times. What's a product manager? So we must realize that the awareness we have amongst product community is small. even within tech companies, it's something that people are still starting to learn to work with product managers. So the point is, don't assume that you have to go in and build the best practices right away. And don't feel bad if your company is not following best practices. You have more power than you think. You have more influence than you think. And by the way, you can have a lot of growth if you go to a place which actually does not have product management best practices and you bring them over, but don't bring them over with a sense of force, with the sense that, oh, we're not following best practices, so we suck. That attitude will not get you anywhere. What you have to do is that if they are a scale of 3 out of 10 in practice, subjective scale, you get them a 4 out of 10. Your career goes like this. You get them 5 out of 10, and your career just goes super fast because everybody sees the impact you're having. And then you can go to your next place, next time you interview, and you tell them the story of how you got them this company from a 3 out of a 10 to a 5 out of a 10. Huge achievement. So don't worry where you start. The point is, are you constantly progressing? And you know, when you have uh, those those issues, talk to them about your peers. And I'm not talking about like everyone. Talk to them about like a set of trusted peers so you can converse about these things. That's one of the reasons why I started my mastermind, is to enable PMs to have things like that. So don't obsess about perfect product management practices. And I wish I had not done that. Like especially in my second and third jobs, I just became so frustrated at like the kind of practices we were following that I almost lost track of what was important, what was impactful at that company. So I would highly encourage you to really think about the context. Let's say you're an early stage B2B startup. You're not going to be making data driven decisions. You just don't have the data. So you have to figure out how do you iterate fast in that context. Context, it determines everything. So that's number 10. Don't obsess about perfect product management practices. Number 9, gain clarity on what it would take. I would have gained more clarity on what it would take for me to get promoted because simply it's different at every company. What gets you to the next level at company A, company B? Ask your manager. Be very clear about your ambitions. Ask other people in the company. And the biggest thing, the biggest challenge I see with my clients is not that they don't have a general idea, it's that they haven't validated their assumptions with the rest of the company. And they feel threatened about talking to their manager about it. My manager is here to judge me, and I don't know how I would look if that happened. So if you're in that state, it's time to let go. It's time to share your ambitions with the rest of the world, especially with your advocates at that company, because that determines everything. Having clarity on exactly what is going to get you to the next level and then focusing on that can save you months, years of work, several years of work. So get clarity on what it would take for you to get promoted. I didn't until much later in my career. And the fact is that your company's promotion performance evaluation processes, they're probably not going to give you much clarity at all. They're just not set up well in most companies. So it's up to you to gain that clarity. You own your career. Okay, that was number 9. Number 8, I wish I was even more disciplined about getting customer inputs and getting customer insight. I did a pretty okay job with that, but I could have taken this to the next level and insisted that I be talking to customers at least weekly. By the way, if you're not doing that, talk to me about how you might be able to get um, more ways of inserting yourself in customer conversations. In fact, I was just chatting the other day with one of my clients on a group call, and like we talked through some ways, and by the time we spoke in 2 days, there was already a difference. And so, absolutely, There's a lot of ways that this can happen. You just got to be disciplined about making sure you stay on top of it because it's the easiest thing to let go. I mean, you know, you're executing with the team, everything's fine. You stay internal and just don't bother going to customer conversations. Probably nobody's going to put you up on this either. Nobody's going to force you to do that unless, of course, you have a really amazing manager who does that, which I think every manager should do. If you're a manager of PMs, pay attention here. But uh, it's a thing that's easy to let go, but it's a key to your influence. It's key to your leadership. Make sure you're talking to customers weekly, at least. Okay, number 7. I'm losing track. Whatever. The next one. I wish I had asked for more. I wish I had asked more often. And I wish I had asked with confidence. And here, what I mean is the typical thing when you're proposing a new product direction, when you're proposing new practices, is to put together a proposal and then send it to your manager, send it to others, and then wait. And what I've heard from some clients in the past is that they sent it to people, but then they did not hear back. And so I asked them, how many times did you follow up? What different forums did you take to follow up? What are the different ways you asked about it? And the answer was, no, I mean, I never heard back, so I assumed they were not interested. People, sometimes influence is just a matter of asking anything multiple times in multiple ways. Because look, we as humans are hardwired to resist what is unfamiliar, and we are hardwired to accept what's familiar. And so, what happens the first time somebody hears something new is that they're like, they have a sense of caution. They might also be attracted to it because of a sense of novelty, but they are also worried about it. The sense of danger comes up. And so sometimes just to get that influence, all you need to do is ask a second and a third time in a slightly different manner. So I wish I had asked for more often and with confidence, the same thing again and again without being annoying. The next one. I wish I had really worried less about my peers getting ahead. This is one of the things, if I'm being truly open and honest, comparison is one of the things that has caused me more grief. And really, it causes more grief for most of my clients than any other thing. That, oh, I have a friend who joined Facebook and now they're a director and I'm still a senior PM and I feel so bad and life sucks and everything. It's natural to feel that way. It's also very, very harmful to think like that. You are on your unique journey. My journey till now, being a PM, not doing well at parts of my career, doing really well at other parts of my career, becoming a coach and a PM, and working with so many, like hundreds of amazing PMs at this point. It, would it have happened had I done well in that earlier job? Probably not. Probably would have been doing something very different. And I don't think I would have found my passion. So it's easy to say this in hindsight. And by the way, I'm still still a lot to achieve. But the point is that you never know what's coming ahead. Maybe the difficulty you're facing right now is what you need to build the muscle that is going to help you do well at the next stage of your career. Maybe the rejections you're getting right now is exactly the kind of repetition you need to get strong. It's almost like exercise. You're lifting weight and it's causing pain right now, but then your biceps will get stronger. And with strength, you're able to achieve a lot more. So think of, let go of this comparison. It's not going to happen straight away, but it's something that's crucial for you to work through. Okay, next one, super important. Next one is I wish I had communicated more with narratives, focused more on storytelling and less on data. Data can be used to support narratives. And by the way, a narrative is a combination of story and strategy. You can have a narrative without strategy, it's just a story, but ultimately that's not going to make you successful. So a narrative combines story and strategy for you to have a really compelling case for something. And I wish I had learned the art of storytelling sooner, and understanding why we are influenced more by that one case, that one customer who's suffering right now, but could be so much further ahead only if we did this, versus 20% of our customers say blah blah blah. You can see the difference. It's like, on one hand you think of this one person whose life would be so much better, and on the other hand 20% of customers' lives will be better. Like it's just like dramatically different in how people are influenced with narratives versus with numbers. The narratives over numbers always. By the way, those who are watching, I hope you're taking notes. Like these things are like literally lessons that if you incorporate with excellence early on, you can make a dramatic impact on your career. Absolutely do those. And I know a lot of people watch the same video on Facebook Live. They'll later you'll watch it on either LinkedIn or YouTube. So take notes. Like there could be a checklist of just lessons that are going to really help you in the future. This is one of my favorite sayings, which is run your job and don't let your job run you. Your job running you? Overwhelm is real. It is so real in the world of product management, where, you know, if I ask people, they're like, my calendar is chopped up into chunks of 30 minutes each, 30 minutes each. And so I am going from one thing to another, and I don't have any time to rest. And sometimes I even give them a simple exercise to do between meetings. That could be done in 30 seconds. But that seems a bit too much. And to me, it's a clear sign that they are not running their job, and the job is not running you. Sorry, the job is running them. What that means is no matter what strategies you learn, no matter what skills you acquire, you will always struggle. You have to get above that bar in order to achieve and apply all these amazing lessons. It's almost like that's the lever. Once you put that in the right place, that's the fulcrum, right? Once you put that in the right place, you can apply everything else and your job is so much easier. You can apply your lever much easier. So that is the fulcrum. That is one of the most important things you can do, is to figure out how do you rise above the overwhelm. And if you ever come and tell me that, Shobhit, you don't understand, my job is unique, I'm going to tell you that I've seen so many product managers face the same struggles and rise above the overwhelm. They've learned to run their job. They've gotten other people to do things. They've learned how to redesign their job to suit them, to help them excel. It can happen in the worst of circumstances. And by the way, if you tried everything I told you and it did not work, you knew that that was the wrong place for you. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, one request is don't leave your job without trying to change and improve it. If you're going to someplace, like if you're going towards something that's better, do it. But if you're going somewhere else only because it's bad, then first you got to try to fix it. And the biggest thing you can do is you can learn how to run your job and not let your job run you. Okay, I won't belabor that point more, but it's crucial. The next one is I wish I'd questioned my mental models and my stories more. As people say that I would jump to conclusions, Matt, and where they just like quickly shortcut from this circumstance to a story that's not serving them. They're telling them something that they're taking what they're hearing and then they're filtering it through a mental model, and then they're coming up with a story at the end of it. So I wish I had questioned that more early on in my career. My coach really made me do that. She often asks me, so Shobhit, I heard that. So can you tell me what's the story you're telling yourself? And I go like, oh, I'm telling myself that that one client, I really wanted this person, they did not sign, good at sales. Nobody really wants to be coached by me, and I generally suck. And as I tell myself, I sometimes start laughing because I know if I step back and look at even data, I'm like, no, I'm an awesome coach. People who coached by me love it. They benefit a lot. My son is staring at me right now, and just like things are actually different, but very often the story we're telling ourselves is not accurate. I wish I had built the skill to question my mental models and stories earlier on in my career. Um, Couple more left, and I'm gonna get a sip of water. I'm getting thirsty. So the next one is to really get into self-development. And I really want to emphasize this point. Not knowledge of self-development. A lot of people I know feel they seem to convince themselves that they're reading quotes, they're reading books, and they're actually into self-development. But they're into just like that knowledge of self-development. When you see their life, nothing has changed. My life really started to change when I first took a step beyond reading and learning. When I took an online course. I followed that up by attending a 4-day event. And that was like life changing. I know you can't go attend events right now, uh, coronavirus and all that, but whenever it changes, then coaching was the thing that really helped me get to that next level. So if you think you're just learning a whole bunch of things, listening to podcasts, it's great. It is great inspiration. And I do it all the time because it keeps reminding me of stuff. But real changes very often requires more than that book. Be coached, get enroll into that class, get into that immersive learning experience. That's what you require to make all these changes. So that. And then I think this is last but not least, hire a coach. If you think coaches are for fancy people, you're wrong. They're for everyone. And if you think coaching is expensive, well, yeah, coaching is expensive. But what's not expensive? What's more expensive? Not hiring a coach. Your income levels, your satisfaction can be so much higher if you had hired a coach. And sometimes maybe you just go for group coaching. But that is what's necessary to take that next stage. And just like any other education, like people ask me about MBA programs, and they're like, so what's the ROI on that? And I'm like, I can't tell you. I don't know what my life would have been had I not done my MBA program, but I'm glad I did it. Same way, hiring a coach, it's a much cheaper decision, but it's life changing, and you can't know for sure that this will actually have any ROI, but it's one of those things that you just have to believe in it. And I had to believe in it when I had my coach, and we are on session number 30, and I'm like, nope, you're gonna be my coach. That's it. Just like I'm gonna keep paying the fee because it changed my perspective, it changes my life. So I hope that was useful. What I'm gonna do is go back and quickly revise. So you can, if you miss anything, you can take notes again. So starting with number 11, things I would change. I would do differently in my career. Start my career at a bigger company. On average, you're going to learn more faster and then you can do well at smaller companies. Don't obsess about perfect product management practices. Don't assume everyone else is doing it perfectly. Don't assume all the webinars and all the people who come and teach you this are also doing it perfectly. Love to learn to roll with the punches. Gain clarity on what it would take you to get promoted. Ask, treat these as hypotheses, validate them. Manage your career like you manage a product. That's the overall theme here. Be even more disciplined about getting customer insights. You're not talking to customers weekly, big issue. And you probably don't need me to tell you that, but I always ask people. I always borrow this saying that common sense is not common practice. So check yourself. How many weeks in a row have you spoken to customers at least once during the week? Ask for more, often, with confidence. Ask for the same thing multiple times. Because sometimes people just have to hear this over and over again. Just like a marketer, you got to tell people, you got to stay top of mind. Worry less about your peers and what they're doing. It's all about you and your unique journey. You are unique. Communicate using narratives, which is a combination of story and strategy. Get better at both. Run your job. Don't let your job run you. If there's one thing you take away, that's the one thing you should focus on. If you are getting overwhelmed, you got to solve that before you go do anything else. Question your mental models and the stories you're telling yourself. Know that you are creating a story for yourself, and that is probably false. And by the way, the thing is that when you tell yourself story, it becomes true to you. But you can retell it, and that also becomes true for you. It's like the parallel universes stories. Really get into self-development, not just learning about self-development, but digging deeper and actually making those changes. And last but not least, hire a coach. Go do it. That's all I got, folks. I wish you have a great weekend. If you're watching this on YouTube, have a great whatever stage you are in. And what I'll do is I'll post a few links with the video if you want to learn more about the mastermind that I offer, if you want to form that peer group, or if you want to talk to me about me being your coach. Maybe I'll be able to work with you one-on-one. Getting kind of tight, so maybe in a group setting, um, you can apply. And that's all I got. Wonderful having all of you here, and have just a great weekend. And make sure you refer back to these steps often. It's my years of my career behind it, but I put it with a deep sense of hope that it will help you and assist you in some way. This is Shobhit, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.